Χρονη Λουρδα, τα αρχαία υλικά στο ελληνικό σχολείο. Μία ιστορία τρόμου για πολλούς μαθητές. Και σαν να μην έφτανε αυτό, οι καθηγητές με περιορισμένη μεταδοτικότητα φαντάζουν σαν το κεραστάκι στην τούρτα. Ο Χρονης Λουρδας μας τονίζει ότι το εκπαιδευτικό σύστημα δεν φαίνεται να καλύπτει τις ανάγκες των μαθητών του πλέον και μας καλεί να λάβουμε δράση.
Well, let me ask you a question, and I want you to be completely honest. Have you ever enjoyed going to school? I knew that, because recently I haven't. Since the schools are a total mess and just doesn't feel right. By that I mean, to begin with, the school subjects are definitely part of this problem, since they haven't aged well. By that I mean, subjects that were relevant 50 years ago, but they no longer are today. For example, the ancient Greek language, or anything related to ancient Greece, can be a nightmare. They're not only very difficult subjects, but also the least useful ones. Unfortunately, because of this difficulty, most students get a bad grade, leading in turn to a ruined grade average. For instance, most of my class doesn't do well in ancient Greek, including me. In tests, barely anyone gets a grade over 15, and a 10 is the average of the class. Instead of delving into the past, wouldn't it be better to study subjects that are useful, that prepare students for the future, such as debating, critical thinking, and problem solving? Such subjects would make sure teenagers are ready for the world of tomorrow. Or we could develop practical skills useful to the modern world, such as typing, cooking, or even using computers efficiently. The world has changed. Students don't need to memorize all of the irregular verbs of ancient Greek. They need to develop empathy, resilience, critical thinking, which were unknown concepts 50 years ago, but necessary qualities today. I have to admit, however, that the problem is not always the subjects themselves, but the ones teaching them. Teachers who can't control the class or let it become a chaos of students talking or screaming is something very frustrating for students who actually want to learn. Even worse, there are teachers who are unable to explain things for the class and leave most students confused and at a loss. That's what happened to me last year. My math teacher wasn't good at explaining things and left me confused after the lessons. So I had to try to learn maths all by myself, which was very difficult, and because I didn't understand anything. Unfortunately, the problems with our schools date back decades. Instead of ignoring them, we, the students, should take action, just like other students have done in the past. If we, all students, stand together, our voices united, we can make a difference. Even the slightest things could help. We can explain to our parents instead of just complain. We can talk to our teachers instead of there are several who will listen to us. We could even write a letter to the government to try to fix the situation of the schools. Can you imagine an ideal world where a letter is signed by hundreds of thousands of students to the government demanding better schools? Let's do something before it's too late.